classes for the kids.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's live now. And then can you reach over there and touch that?
Okay, sure.
What other issues? What other things do you have going on? Is experience performance issues? Because it says that other things are.
Probably can close a lot of other things that I have open. Let's see here. Well, we need not to be live.
No. Don't end it. Don't end it because we're already on.
Okay, let's close all that.
No. Is it going to close this?
No, it's just going to close all that.
Okay. We're telling your followers that you started. Hang on. We're telling more. All right, G, that's enough. Let's just go right.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
We'll go right to it.
Okay.
Hey,
all right,
y'all.
excellent.
How's it going?
Hello. How are you doing?
Hey, everybody. We're so excited that you're joining us for this I Choose Me time. And we're, super excited about it. I'm so happy to have G in the house.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
Oh, it's so awesome having. Y'all saw on the information that I said my partner, because him, my man. He's my boo thing. So
Okay, all right.
I'm so excited that.
So am I.
You happy to be here with me?
I'm happy to be here with you. Happy to be here with the people.
Oh my gosh! It's first I had Zachary here a couple of weeks ago, and I said I wanted Big Daddy to come on first, but since Zachary was getting ready to go to Germany, we said let's go ahead and have him on, and that was so awesome. We're on Facebook Live, we're on Instagram Live, so if you see my face and G's face going back and forth, it's because we are on different platforms. And then, of course, we'll post it on YouTube, and we'll post it on TikTok and all of that. And please share with other people about it, because we really believe that this I Choose message is going to circle the globe.
Absolutely.
And people are going to get an opportunity to understand how important it is for them to choose themselves first.
Right. You're saying something so incredible. I tell you what, I'm so excited about getting into this message, because I remember, I guess we would do an introduction first, before we kind of get into.
Oh, you ready to get
into
into it?
I am so excited. I'm ready to I'm ready to dig in.
That's just
dig
like
in right now.
It's time to go. But anyway, the title of this is "Let's Talk About Men Embracing the I Choose Me Message."
Okay. All right.
And the I Choose Me, of course, is about creating a lifestyle of balance for yourself by choosing to be emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially healthy first, so that you can be of service to others.
Yes, absolutely.
And then again, like I said, this is my husband, minister. He's an ordained minister, but he's like, could you just put my name there? But I'm like, you are an ordained minister.
That's true. That's true.
You're educated.
Yeah, I'm educated. Yeah.
And so anyway, it's just super awesome to have you here with me. We've been married for 30 years in June.
Yeah.
And we have 2 children together, Zachary and Tabitha, and you are a project manager.
Yeah, senior project manager.
A senior project manager in the oil and gas industry, and as I mentioned, he's an ordained minister. And then also we host a Overcoming Procrastination for Success workshop together.
Oh, you got to be a part of that. That is incredible, life-changing, trust me.
Yeah, that's an amazing workshop. And we also do it for the church that we attend to.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so people hire us to come in and do the Overcoming Procrastination for Success workshop. It's so good. It's so good. But then I just wanted to again just remind the people that a lot of people have questions sometimes about the I Choose Me message, and that especially in the Christian arena, that they think that that's being selfish. But we said that Jesus did it first.
Yeah, it's quite the contrary. Matter of fact, it's incredible how God shared this incredible. I like to call it manifold wisdom, because I compare this level of importance as it relates to the I Choose Me message. When Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, and they were conversing back and forth, and Jesus made an incredible statement at the time.
I ask you to scoot in just a little so that the people on Instagram can
Jesus made an incredible statement. He says, "Destroy this temple in 3 days, and I will raise it up." Mm-hmm. Okay, so at the time, in a natural sense, right, the Pharisees essentially like, wait a minute, it took us multiple years to build this temple, and you're talking about you're going to tear it down and destroy it and raise it back up in 3 days? Okay. Well, in hindsight, in Revelation, he was speaking of his body being the temple, right? Mm-hmm. I compare the I Choose Me message just as important as it relates to people really begin to get a revelation and an understanding of what God has given to you and has given to us to really expand this message across the globe, because we really believe that this message not only is life-changing, but it has so many factors to it where that it could literally change a person's life. Dave, you spoke on just one of them, talked about creating a level of balance in your life, mm-hmm. so therefore you could be well equipped for whatever service that God may have called you to, where you can be that to others. And that is what the ministry is all about, is to be able to not only to serve others, but to reach others.
And I think it's awesome what you said, because you started off with manifold wisdom, which means that it's a continual unveiling. Mm-hmm, and mm-hmm. So, and there's different layers to it. And so today we're talking about men embracing the message. Yeah. And but it's not just about men, it's about every human being that's walking the planet. And what's happening now in society or throughout the entire globe, there are a lot of people who are dealing with not choosing themselves mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and they're not choosing themselves first because they think there's something wrong with it. Yeah. They think, society makes you think it's all about everybody else all the time. Mm-hmm. And the idea behind it, of course, is to be a service to others. Yeah. But man, you can't take care of nobody if you can't take care of yourself first. That's right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so just like they say on the aircrafts, and I said it before, and you guys have all heard it a million times, I'm sure. It's like, take care, put your mask on first. Yeah. Buckle yourself up first. Can serve others before you can help anybody else. Absolutely. And we have to be okay with that, because Jesus did the same thing. The I Choose Me message is so woven into the scriptures, mm-hmm. where that we miss it because a lot of time it doesn't come across as the context of the message. But when listen to this, Jesus said to us, in order for us to really, really minister or to help others, there's a scripture in Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 7, but it talks about, before we can, pull a splinter out of someone else's eye, we need to take the tree trunk. You need to check yourself first.
Out of yours. He also talks about, before you can, you're getting in other folks' matter, but first thing you need to do is kind of sweep around your own front door. This I Choose Me message is so woven into scriptures. Yeah. You talked about the first, the Last Supper. Just so many different areas. Yeah. So what we're really trying to set the stage here is about the level of being balanced in everything that you do, right? Because a lot of times when you do anything, even though it could be good for you, but if you don't create a level of balance, then it becomes a challenge or something that is abused.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I just, thank you for that. And I knew you were going to go straight Minister Brown on us. And that's, why? Because it's a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And so, again, it was a couple of years ago, especially when the kids got out of school, and we were the parents that decided that we're going to go to all of their games. We were up at, when Tabitha was at Alabama, we were in Alabama. When she was at Wichita State, we were at, all of the games, and even traveled out of the state also to go to the games. And the same thing with, and then of course she went to Rice, and we were everywhere with them. And the same thing with Zachary. So and even before then, as young ones, we were always there with them, and we made a decision that we were going to
early on as parents. Absolutely.
But then we looked up one day when they were finished.
Hello.
And don't get me wrong, we've been doing a lot, being in ministry, working full time, doing other side hustle kinds of things. We are constantly going
busy.
But we looked up one day and had to ask the question, who am I? It's the question that a lot of adults have a tendency to ask when they're children, when they become empty nesters, right?
Yeah.
Who am I? What am I supposed to do? What's next? How do I recalibrate, what's going on? And we had been talking about the I Choose Me message for a long time, even before them. It's been just a part of, our ministry, I guess. And so I wanted to, just getting in, and if you don't mind, ask you just a few questions to kind of balance where we're going.
Okay.
And then you answer the questions and be a blessing to the people. I'm sure. Be a blessing to Instagram world, YouTube world, Facebook world. And again, I'm encouraging people to comment on the message. We'd like to hear your stories. We'd like to hear what's going on with you, because your stories also help other people.
Absolutely.
And so this is with the focus of men, dealing with men, embracing the I Choose Me message.
Yeah.
Okay, so regarding the mindset of choosing others first, before the message, this new I Choose Me message clicked in your head, what was your mentality about choosing?
Well, how I was raised, my parents taught me to always be willing to serve others, always willing to sort of give to others first, and so therefore we can help them get to whatever situation or wherever they need to go, right? And so that has always been my mindset of being able to be a servant, and it's just something that just comes natural for me anyway, just to be able to help someone that are in need, or to help someone they need wisdom or understanding towards something in some area in life. So that's always been a big deal for me growing up.
And so when you were, the idea about choosing others first, because especially in our communities or what have you, we're wanting to make sure that we have food for people, they come by and they eat, and like you said, giving wisdom and whatnot. And so your mentality, you're saying, is like just from a kid growing up, I was always taught to think about others first, right?
Yeah.
And so as a father, how did that play out? As a father and a husband, what are some of the things that you did to ensure that your family came first? Because knowing you for 30 years, your family, especially after you gave your life to the Lord, your family came absolutely first, and you put some parameters in place to make sure that was.
Yeah, and as a young man, coming from the background that I came from, it was a pretty. I thank God for my parents, and I thank God for the experience that I had growing up. But it was a pretty rough environment that I grew up in. But one thing that was still instilled in me was about, as I mentioned earlier, about helping others. But I knew something else was missing in my life, right? And fortunately, I was able to give my life to Christ, and with that servitude mindset, I already had had a mind on how I projected, how I wanted to my family to be part of society, what to look like, right? And so it was all about, you know, me being the man, the leader in my home, to create an environment, a safe environment to encourage, to provide wisdom, and last but not least, but I knew that was going to come with a sacrifice, right? Because I've always had money, I've always had things, right? So that wasn't a challenge for me, because God has always blessed me to be able to have those material things, but I knew I was giving up something in order to be able to establish a family the way that I felt that God would have me to raise.
Right. And so I appreciate you saying that, because you know, like we were talking about before, it clicked in your head about, you know, I need to take care of me first, because being your wife, of course, I know that you gave up a lot in order to make sure that the family was intact. And I know that as a man, or the head of the household, not just the man, but you know, head of households, that sometimes you forget about all of what's important to you personally, and you put all of your efforts into your children, you put your efforts into everybody else, until one day you look up and it's like, you know, like, who am I? What, you know?
Absolutely.
What about me? You know?
Absolutely, because even though as being a father, you still am an individual that still have goals, still have dreams, and things you want to be able to accomplish in life. And so with that in mind, it created a tremendous challenge that I was not ready for. Like, it sort of caught me off guard, because then I realized, okay, so my wife is doing well, my children are growing up and just as I projected as God gave me grace in those areas to do that. So I see everyone else's life is blossoming, and everybody.
So it seems.
Yeah. And
you're talking about me and the kids.
Yeah, and the kids. Yeah. So you guys are blowing up. Let me put it that way. And so, as a father, you know, you get into a rhythm where you checking the box. Family's good. Yeah. Cars are good. Yeah. Home is good. Yeah. You know, just doing those fatherly things that is important to making sure that you are sustaining life and you know, family, right? So, but yeah, when it dawned on me, it created a challenge where that I had to go back and sort of refocus on some of my dream, as well as being able to create this balance. Remember we talked about that. We talked about, you know, it's not just serving others, but it's also being able to put yourself in a position so that you could be even a more greater service. Because when that revelation came to me, I knew right then that, hey, listen, here's some things that that I need to do as a husband, as a father, and as an individual to be the best me that I possibly can be in order to still to reach all of those goals and dreams that I wanted to accomplish as a husband and father.
Oh, good. Thank you, G. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Question number 2. Okay. So I had this minister friend, and it's a pastor, and I was a few years ago. I talked about my testimony, and in the testimony, it was one of those that he could relate to as well. And he said that there, you know, like, Letitia, you just don't understand. There's a lot of, not just women and children or whatever that go through what you went through, but there are men that go through it as well. And so for those of you who don't know, you know, there years ago, decades ago, I used to think about, contemplate, and attempt to harm myself, right? And then, of course, there was some miraculous, wonderful things that took place that you can always visit my website at letitiabrown.com and listen to that testimony. And, of course, buy my book, No Trace. Shameless plug there. But anyway, but he, said that there are things that he went through and a lot of men go through, but they don't ever talk to other people about them. And so he had this event at his church, and it was a men's event, and in it, it got really emotional or what have you, and the men were being vulnerable, and he asked the question, to the men that were there. He said, how many of you have ever thought about committing suicide? How many of you have attempted it? How many people do you know that have actually followed all the way through and died by suicide? And he said, and if that's you, please stand up. And he said over 90% of the men stood up. That's a big number. Which means to me that there are things that men go through emotionally and mentally that they don't get an opportunity to share with other people about them. And not only that, that they're not the only one. So my question to you is, what do you think holds men back from expressing their mental and emotional experiences, as well as not choosing themselves first by getting the help that they need so that they can be the best expression of themselves and others, to so that others get the benefit of their emotional and mental health? What is it that holds men back from expressing?
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. Okay, so I'm gonna
be brief.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to compartmentalize that, but that is such an incredible question, and I will do my best to try to answer that in a way that's safe. Because as a man, right, we are especially depending on what generation that you grew up in, right? So for me, as a young man, I was taught early on to be me, myself, and I in terms of, you got this, everything you need, you can handle it yourself. There is a sense of being a coward when you need help from other people. That you are less than a man if you need help and support from others. Right? And so you grow up with this sort of macho mentality that creates an imbalance or an insecurity where that whatever's going on with you, you're not willing or open enough to share with other people.
Right.
Now, that is contrary to what the Word of God says. Because the Word of God teaches us there is wisdom in a multitude of counseling. Right? So when you need help, it's important for you to seek out those things that you know that could perhaps enhance you to be a better person, or to be something that you could admire or dream of becoming. Right. And so that's one of the reasons why men typically don't take care of themselves first, because there's a lot of pressure being a man, first of all.
That's right. It's a lot of pressure. You think being a woman is like, I have to take care of it. But there's a lot of men that have a lot of pressure.
It's a silent code that men don't often speak of, because...
And what's that?
Well, I am the man, right? So they want to, we all want to be strong for our family. We want to be strong for our friends and our loved ones. But at the same time, if we don't have a support system, or if we don't have, we have not been taught
Right.
To have a level of balance where that there is something greater than me that I can go to
Yes.
for my help,
Yeah.
right? Because we're constantly pouring out as men, right?
Right.
We're not often receiving, we're constantly giving and not receiving. And so as you the natural cycle of life, as you continuously to pour out, you become empty, right?
Wow.
And so if there's nothing to restore that or replenish that emptiness, it creates a level of frustration, it creates a level of insecurity, it creates a level of frustration and anger
and anxiety.
So that's why when the pastor raised that question to the men in the audience, and thank God those men were true about that level of being vulnerable, and so it spoke volume. And I'm really happy because that's a very real subject that really should be addressed when it comes to men. And thank God there are men groups and things that men can go and just fellowship and talk about the importance of things, because we don't have all the answers. Right. We want to, but we don't have all the answers. Right. But in a multitude of counsel, right? You're not the only one, especially for young men. Thank God that there are men today that are still out there really reaching out to young men and showing them and teaching them the value of choosing themselves first, to be balanced, where that you can not only be who all that God has created you to be, but you can be an incredible service to others, whether that's an athlete, whether that's you in education, whether that you want to create or invent something that was going to impact people's lives. So there's many different walks of life that an individual, especially as a man, could have these services available to them and to give out to the young men that really need it.
Well, G, I really appreciate you sharing the insight, of what's going on with men, and that the overall idea in the end game.
Yeah, because men don't like being vulnerable.
Men don't like being vulnerable, but
it is a strength factor that we all want to really position ourselves, so therefore we can seem as strong. But I love what Apostle Paul said. It was such an incredible revelation, especially for me as a man, right? When he was going through his challenges, right, and frustration, he was, thorns, was hitting him back and forth. And then God turns around and tells him that my grace is sufficient for you. That my strength is made perfect in my weakness. Yeah. And so that is my message to men today, about being able to choose yourself and understanding that a lot of times your vulnerability is your strength.
That's right.
And you being able to acknowledge that is your first step to your victory. Yes. To your recovery, to your promotion, is to know that there is help and there is an answer to every situation and every problem that you could ever face in life.
Well, with that being said, and so I have so many questions, but man, oh man, have you just knocked it out the park? Boop, boop. With my baseball outfit on. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing that information. I was watching, first I wanted to say, in the book Get Up You Big Fat Procrastinator.
Very powerful tool, by the
way. There's a chapter in it called Don't Get Caught Off Guard, right? And the Don't Get Caught Off Guard has to do with everyday stuff that we take for granted and we procrastinate in, making sure that you have life insurance for your family, making sure that you go and get your checkups when you need to get your checkups.
Very important. Even though we don't like it, but It must happen, okay?
Don't procrastinate in it.
Absolutely.
And just taking care of the everyday things like paying the bills on time, all kind of stuff. And so we have a tendency to do all of the things, right? And so while we're doing all the things that we have to do every day in order to be successful and survive, how do people benefit from choosing themselves first in the midst of having to do all of these everyday things? And if you can hit that timer for me,
that's incredible because wow. Okay, so that's another.
It's so brief because it's almost
okay. So one of the main things here, one thing that I would say to that, number one, is getting alignment with myself.
Get in alignment.
Because there's so many different areas, factors that as men that we're faced with every day. The first thing that I do is I try to get into that God center, align myself, because when I know that there are things that I need to personally take care of, a way I find myself to help get center is I choose the God factor in
that's your foundation.
Everything. That is my foundation. When I feel myself getting frustrated, or I feel myself getting outside of alignment based on what God said that I am, I immediately pull myself back to that area, because I know outside of that, it distorts my thinking. Yeah. It distorts how I feel. It distorts me being able to properly, gather my thoughts where I know that the thoughts will be productive and not, a hindrance where that I won't be able to accomplish the goal in which I've set for myself. And so those are some of the key factors, but it's so much there. Great question, by the way. Thank you so much for putting these questions together, because I think it's very important as men to understand the level of importance. When you talk about family security, and progressing, and was a word that I'm looking for here, is to be able to sustain sustainability in life. Those things are very, very important. But number one, I have to have a certain mindset in order to pursue those things in terms of creating a balance for me and my family.
So what I heard you say is, you said a beautiful mouthful, by the way, that it's important for you to be in alignment, and your alignment is God-centered. Yes. Right? And so your idea behind choosing you first, so that you can be of service to others, and to make sure that you maintain all of the things that you have to do on a daily basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, or what have you, is that you're God-centered. Yes. And when you're in alignment, that's your focal point. When you're in alignment, then you're able to be an octopus. Yeah.
You're able to do all the other stuff, right? Yeah, because, listen now, girl, you're getting me excited. Because
you're excited about being an octopus?
Well, just being in alignment, because you know what? Yes. Because I can organize.
Yeah, organize thought.
Structure. I mean, I can structure pretty much everything around me. It's so important to keep that balance. Because I talked about leadership. As a father, being able to encourage, because a lot of time, when you're called upon to encourage, to inspire your family or loved ones, you want to be ready, in position to do that when called upon, right? To being able to provide wisdom when wisdom is needed. So just being in alignment,
and you got to be full of something first.
You have to be. Yeah, full of that word, right? The sacrifice is getting on your knees, praying not only for yourself, but praying for your family, praying for loved ones, praying for church, praying for a country, praying for a world, society. So it's just having that balance and alignment allows you to see so much further down the road, and to create structure where there's balance as you're pursuing all these things.
Creating a balanced lifestyle. And I love that so much. And I know that you are a man of prayer, and I'm not going to tell you a prayer business, but because it's like, Letitia, the world don't have to know everything. Good Lord. But anyway, but I know that we are not where we are without you spending time in prayer. Of course, we both have a prayer life, but as a father, that in order for us to go to where we need to go as a family, that you're saying, prayer is the foundation.
That is the foundation. That is so important.
I was watching this basketball documentary. It's on Netflix. And what is that guy's name? It's called Untold, I believe, or something like that. And artist
Ron Artest, I think.
Yeah, Ron. I'm terrible with names. Well, I'm getting better with names. How about that? Well, anyway, Ron Artest. Well, anyway, I didn't watch the whole documentary yet. I just watched a portion of it. But one of the interesting things is this. He played for the Indiana Pacers and whatnot. And he was talking about how mentally and emotionally he, had some things that he was going through. They had a psychologist that would travel with him, and he was, had some emotional issues where he said, I have anxiety about the future, and I have depression going on with where I am. And I started to think about young men, when they start off young, how we do teach them, you're the man. You got to keep your head up.
That's a natural. Really, it flows into a natural context as being a man too. Because you want to. I mean, we were ordained to conquer, subdue.
Right. And so, with that being said, that sometimes you don't think that you need the help that you need, right? And then at some point, it has to come out. The issues that you're dealing with, and sometimes it comes out in a very bad way, right? Whether people are fighting, killing, stealing, whatever. Do you understand? And emotionally, you got so much emotional and mental turmoil going on the inside that usually starts from a young age, right? So I want to help parents to help their young men to make sure that they're emotionally and mentally, physically, spiritually, all of that, financially balanced first, and being okay with them choosing themselves first so that they can be effective human beings when they're older, and that they can be of service to others. And so my last question to you is, what suggestions do you have for parents raising boys to be emotionally and mentally healthy first so that they can be of service to others? What suggestions do you have?
Wow, that's another great questions, by the way. One thing that I would recommend, especially talking to your young boys or your young men, is number one is create an environment where that they know that it is safe for them to communicate.
Yes.
Right. And the way we normally do that is we do that through our family meetings. But that's one of the key areas, because as young men, a lot of times, again, we like to hold things in. But if we don't have someone to be able to talk those things through, we tend to hold those things in, and we'll find other vehicles, other means to get that out, to really relieve stress, whether it's through drugs or alcohol, those type of things that then lead to other areas. You mentioned about depression, but one of those, talking, being able to have a safe environment to be able to talk things through. Number two is, and there's no way around this, and I will be I would be remiss if I didn't say this. There is always there. We were born with a void inside of us, right? And that void, that the only way to relieve that void is to become saved, accept Jesus Christ into your life, because we need, especially as men, we need something that is greater than ourselves.
Yes.
So that we can call upon, that we can be renewed and be filled again in order to be able to accomplish. Especially, I'm going to use an athlete, because our kids, we grew up, our kids being athletes, and we've been in that environment, and so we know a lot about that environment and what that does to young people. Yeah. Right. To be able to have that balance, like not only to be saved, but knowing that when your life is based on performance based, right, a lot of times kids get very, very discouraged, and it's good for them to know that they are more than that thing or that activity that they're doing, so they never lose focus of who they are. Yeah. Because greater is He that is in me than he that is in this world. Yes. So having that level of balance helps a young person to realize that, hey, I may have a challenge now, right, but I can overcome any challenge knowing that my source is greater than anything I can experience in this world. So, I mean, those are some of the things that obviously there's a lot more. I would encourage for those who's not familiar with OPS, overcoming procrastination for success. I highly recommend you.
It's a workshop. The OPS
getting involved, learning more about this workshop, and not only just learning more about it, but attend one of the workshops. And a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you, we share in greater detail. A lot of the background information, but because we're limited on time, I had to sort of compartmentalize a lot of the information. But you want not only for yourself, but also for your young ones as well to be a part of that. Yeah. And it is definitely life-changing.
Yeah, the Overcoming Procrastination workshops, the Overcoming Procrastination for Success workshops is for companies, different organizations, groups, women's group, men groups. It's a 9-week course that can be adjusted based on what your needs are. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for bringing that up. And of course, you can visit the website at letitiabrown.com for information about anything that we're doing. And of course, you could always, type in, I'm interested in this, and then get that.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Well, then I'm super, super glad that you joined.
Oh, baby.
Thank you so
much.
You're
welcome, honey.
Were you trying to give me a kiss?
I was.
You can't be kissing on camera. But anyway, I really enjoyed having you here. You are a natural, and we will continue to come on as Saturdays as much as we can, having different people to come and sit with me, because we want this whole I Choose Me message is for the everyday person. Got it? And so we want the everyday people to be involved with it. And it's good to be able to hear the message from different people from different...
Because faith comes by hearing.
Faith comes by hearing.
When you know the importance of I Choose Me, this is not just everyday. We believe this message has been ordained for the world to hear. That's and right. I believe that when people really get a revelation of what I Choose Me is all about, I really believe not only will suicide rate goes down, level of frustration and angst and all those anxiety, all those things will decrease, because when revelation has been expounded, then you have the proper tools to be able to circumvent any challenges that you may face in life.
We encourage you to get the book, Get Up, You Big Fat Procrastinator. It is one of those things that you it's important to choose yourself in that area. Very important, because many times we procrastinate about so many things because we're not choosing ourselves first. So they all tie together. All of the messages tie together. I Choose Me is about getting up and not procrastinating about life and about the decisions that you make. We've had so many people that get the book and they see the title and they get super excited about it, and it helps them to pop up. Got it? And give life all that they have to offer. Visit my website at letitiabrown.com. Get a googlob of the books. We're super happy about what's the information that's in the book, and it will be a blessing to you. Everywhere I go and I'm holding on to the book, somebody says, tell me about that book. All right? And then the other one, of course, is the I Choose Me hoodies. Guess what? We've designed some new products, and those are coming out soon. We're really happy about them. They're coming out real soon. And but get your I Choose Me, get your school colors. Again, whatever school you go to, especially coming in the fall, we like wearing the hoodies. Purple, red, University of Houston, PV, whatever school, UT or burnt orange, whatever it is, we encourage you to get a hoodie, because as I was walking through the store yesterday and I had my I Choose Me t-shirt on, and this little lady at HEB, she said, "Ooh, I love your shirt so much. What is it all about?" Got it? And I got a chance to tell her about the importance of choosing yourself first, and so that you can be of service to others. And everybody that we have a conversation with concerning the message, they're like, I can get with that. I love that so much. Yeah. So get it. Go to letitiabrown.com. Get your hoodies. Get your t-shirts. Wear it with pride, and then get the book as well. Yeah. And then, of course, if you're interested in having me to come to speak at any of your events, whether it's online or at your place of business or one of your events, I would love to come and speak there as well. And G, I appreciate you joining the I Choose.
No, this is groundbreaking. This is
broadcast.
This is groundbreaking.
Can you continue to join me as much as possible?
Of course, honey. Of course.
We make a fantastic team.
Yeah, of course. Of course, no problem.
So I'm really happy about that. And then we look forward to seeing you all on next Saturday. And August 28th, by the way, is my birthday. So that's my birthday. That's a Saturday. And I'm still coming on, and I want to see you all there. Well, I hope that there's something that we said that's been a blessing to you, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.
Hope you enjoyed.
Take care now.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh. You get that one too.
How do you stop that one?
I don't know. Just click. Just the screen.
Oh.
Hit the X button, I guess.
Where's the X button? Oh, up there. Okay.